up, videos? Back for another video for season 10 of The Walking Dead. This is going to be my trailer or promo breakdown for the upcoming episode of The Walking Dead, season 10, episode 16, the finale of season 10, which is called No Place to Go. Now, one thing I want to mention is it seems like the title of this episode wasn't A Certain Doom, which we were originally thinking it was. That title, A Certain Doom, actually came out by reliable sources, but it seems like that's not the actual title of this episode, and the title is No Place to Go. Obviously, the next episode is not going to air until later this year. They were not able to finish post-production, and so this episode is not going to be coming up next week, so it's going to be delayed. However, they were able to do a trailer or promo, which I think was pretty interesting. Now, although I love that we got a trailer and I'm happy about it, I'm also a little disappointed because the trailer looks awesome. It gets me super excited and stoked for the next episode, for the finale, but it's not actually going to air next week. So it's just getting us hyped for an episode that's not going to air until God knows when. And also they actually released a sneak peek as well for this episode, which I will do a separate video on right after this. That sneak peek is actually very, very interesting, and there's some juicy information that we can get from that, and there's some cool reveals in that sneak peek. So make sure to go check that out right after this. If you haven't checked out my reaction to the last episode, episode 15, which was called The Tower, you can click the link that's going to drop on the top right to go check that out. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. So the trailer starts with this shot of everyone in the big building or the tower that they were at, and everyone's panicking, they're running around. This is obviously when the herd gets there, so Beta and the Whispers and the Walker herd is outside. So we have Father Gabriel, he turns around and looks outside and he sees the big herd of walkers, most likely Whispers amongst them. And then we have this shot of Father Gabriel, Daryl, and some others, and they're still inside the big building, inside the tower. Father Gabriel says, our plan is still the same, 4 groups, 2 in each. So they're just going over their plan, and it seems like Father Gabriel is saying their plan hasn't changed. It's just that it's a different circumstance, but their plan is still the same. Now Daryl is there, so that's pretty interesting. So they do make it back to the tower, so that's awesome. That's actually revealed to us even in the sneak peek. So we know that Kelly and Carol also make it back. So everyone other than Eugene's group is going to be back, and they're going to regroup in the tower. Then we have this pretty awesome shot of Carol putting something under her sleeve. This is a great Easter egg actually, or a callback to something related to Carol that happened back in season 6. If you remember, she had the weapon in her sleeve and she mowed down the saviors in, I think it was episode 15 of season 6, if I remember correctly. So this is a pretty cool callback to that. This shot of Lydia looking at Carol. Now the previous shot with someone putting the weapon in their sleeve, it could be someone other than Carol, but I just assumed it was Carol because these 2 shots were right after the other. And then we have this shot of Daryl talking to the survivors. They're still in the tower. Daryl says, we're not all going to make it through, but this is the only way. I think what they're talking about here is that they came up with this plan that they're going to use the guts trick to get out. So put ponchos on themselves, cover it with walker blood, and walk through the herd. They've done that in multiple occasions. The most recent of which was during No Way Out, when Alexandria was overrun. Now in the image that we got from the finale, the same poster that revealed to us that the finale is going to be postponed, it's actually Daryl with the poncho and walkers all around him. So that was actually a scene from the finale, so that's pretty awesome. But that's their plan, and we're actually gonna see in multiple shots, this being one of them, the group actually wearing the ponchos with the blood on them. So here we have Luke, we have other survivors in the back, and obviously we have Jules, the Oceanside member. They're all wearing the poncho, or they're wearing their clothes. I don't even know if it's a poncho, but they're wearing their clothes and they're covering it with walker guts to get through the walker. Now, I think at this point, it's safe to assume that Jules is not a Whisper. That was a theory at some point, but at this point, I think we're safe to assume that Jules is not a spy like Dante was. And then we have this shot of Daryl walking out, looking back at Judith, who's staying in. So I think what they're doing is that the group is going to go outside with the walker guts on them and to try to walk through them, but they're gonna leave the kids behind. Obviously, it's not safe for the kids to go, even though they did that during No Way Out, but I think that in this case, they're just gonna have the other survivors go, take care of the herd, and then come back for the kids. And most likely Judith is going to stay behind and watch over the others, like the kids and stuff. And then we have this shot of Judith looking out at Daryl. We do see Carol right on the left as well. She's wearing the poncho as well with walker guts, so that's pretty awesome. And then we have this pretty awesome shot of Beta. He says begin, or he whispers begin, and all of the walkers kind of go towards the tower to go get the survivors. So that's pretty awesome. And then we have multiple shots of the herd, whispers amongst them. And then we have Beta amongst the walkers as well. And then we have Eugene's group. They're riding the bikes that they found at the end of the last episode. So they're riding to the location that they're going to meet Stephanie. Now, Eugene's group is not actually coming to save anyone. They don't even know that the survivors are trapped. They are dealing with the Stephanie situation. So they're just going to make it to that meeting. So they're just on their way there. So we see Yumiko, Eugene, Ezekiel, and Princess. Now in the voiceover, we have Eugene saying, it's too late. Our rendezvous is set in stone. So it seems like maybe they're not able to make it in time and they're running against time. But then we have this shot of Eugene and Yumiko. And then we have this shot of the survivors in the tower. They put some stuff in front of the door to block it from the walkers being able to get in. Now, I think this is awesome because it's a callback to the hospital door from the pilot. So this is a pretty cool callback to that. I don't know if they meant this to be a callback, but it is. And then we have this shot of Father Gabriel, Judith, and one of the Oceanside members. I think that's Rachel. Judith says they're coming up, referring to the walkers. And then we have this pretty awesome shot of Daryl in the background and Kelly. They have the poncho on them, obviously, but Kelly puts on a whisper mask. So that's pretty cool. They're using the whisper strategy against them. That's awesome. And then we have this shot of a survivor making their way out, wearing the poncho and everything. So they're going to walk through the walkers. This shot of Luke, Jules, and others as well. They're just standing there while the walkers pass by. And then we have this shot of Daryl making his way out of the door while the walkers flood in. And then we have this pretty awesome shot of someone trying to break through the door. I think that's Beta. He's trying to break in, so that's pretty cool. We have this shot of Father Gabriel with his shotgun getting ready to fight. And then we have this shot of Aaron killing a bunch of walkers and whisperers. Now, this is interesting because it connects to the scene from the previous episode. We do know that the whisperers surrounded Alden and Aaron. So it seems like they do make it out of that situation and they do kill the whisperers that are there. So that's super cool. And then we have this shot of Eugene's group. They're near rail tracks. This does definitely connect to the next story arc and Stephanie and the Commonwealth, which is the community Stephanie's from. Now, they did give us a small hint about this in not the previous episode, but the episode before. But it seems like they are actually gonna maybe give us more Easter eggs or clues about that moment from the comics, which is gonna happen later on. But obviously Eugene's group is there to meet Stephanie. And then we have this shot of Eugene's group. They're waiting to meet Stephanie. I don't know if they're gonna meet Stephanie in this episode or not, but I will do my predictions and I'll talk more about that in that video. But then we have this shot of Ezekiel talking to Eugene. Ezekiel says, this journey must be completed. You must try. We must do everything we can. This is obviously referring to their journey to find and meet Stephanie and to find the community that she's from, go to, or at least try to learn more about the community that she's from. So that's pretty much it for this trailer or promo breakdown. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for my sneak peek breakdown as well. I'll do that video right after this one and I'll post both of them at the same time. So stay tuned for that. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.